from the Supercharger. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be going over an all-new Shelby F-150. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed Kenley Ford here in Layton, Utah for giving me some time with this Shelby F-150. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And by the way, this one is still available for sale, and something that's really cool about the Ed Kenley Ford is they do not charge any sort of markups over MSRP on any of Ford's product or specialty vehicles like this, so definitely reach out to them if you want a great deal on a new Ford. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a supercharged 5-liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 775 horsepower and over 600 pound-feet of torque. I love how the supercharger is finished in Ford Performance Blue. Cool that they powder-coated that. And then you guys can kind of see the carbon fiber air intake. I'll zoom into that in just a second, but definitely a crazy powertrain for a truck. And just look at that. Now, before we go to the front end, I do want to mention, if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, we have these really cool racing stripes there in the center, and then you guys can see there with the dual intake, that is really cool. And then you have that supercharged badge there on either side. And then coming down below, you can see we've got the custom Shelby front grille there, and you can see with the racing stripes that come down front and center. We do have parking sensors here on the front end, and just look how the bumper's been sculpted to just make it look sportier. And then this is built off of a Lariat, so you've got the cool upgraded LED daytime running lights with the headlights as well. When you put this all together, this has to be one of the best looking pickup trucks for sale. So our tire and wheel setup is 35 by 12.5 by 22 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys will notice we've got the Shelby logo there front and center in the wheel, and then you do have Shelby on the red brake caliper as well. And you know, I'm usually not a big fan of huge wheels on trucks, but I love the look of this wheel. So we have Performance Series adjustable bypass shocks from Fox with this kit, and they are adjustable. You guys can see the adjustment there at the end. This also has a BDS suspension lift. It has eye-box springs as well, and so this is all supposed to help out with, well, off-road capability, but then also ride quality. We've got the Shelby F-150 Off-Road badge here, which is really cool, and then Shelby just down below. And then you actually have some protection here for those power side steps if you ever take it off-road. And then we have our 775 horsepower logo. And then when you take it in all together, this truck looks so cool from the side view. Again, you guys can see with those 22s, and then you've got like the Shelby badge there on the back. I'm a big fan. Now, being built off of a Lariat means that, well, we have the upgraded Ford key fob, so we've got our unlock function, or lock function, remote start, and the drop down for the tailgate. Now, for cool looks and aerodynamic purposes, Shelby adds this painted bed cap, and notice how it kind of like just like swoops up. You still have the stripes on it, which is pretty cool. And speaking of the bed, we have 1,006 pounds of payload capacity with this specific package. We've got the upgraded Lariat's taillights here, and then you guys can see F-150 stamped into the bed, and then Shelby down below, and yes, those racing stripes continue. And you're gonna absolutely love the sound of the exhaust with this truck, and I love the tips, how they also say Shelby on them. And then you do have parking sensors here on the bumper. And then for those of you that are shock nerds, here are the rear shocks, and then this truck does still utilize leaf springs. And you know what? This truck looks absolutely fantastic. Now, Ed Kenley Ford does happen to have a bunch of other trucks from Tuscany and some other, you know, lifted trucks in general. So like, there's a Black Widow, so you can kind of compare that. That's like a Black Ops Edition F-150. And then you've got like the FTXs over there. Let me know which one you like the look of the most. I lean towards the Shelby because I know that it has a supercharged V8 under the hood, but it's just me. Now, this is a normal Lariat interior, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but there's a door panel and got power side steps. Now, this is not so normal. Look at these seats. You guys can see with the red stitching and everything, they look so sweet. And we get tons of legroom and these Shelby floor mats. And then look at the carbon fiber here for the rear passengers, and even the backs of the seats have that red stitching. Again, the front door panel is normal Lariat. Some features I do want to show you guys though, this truck does have blind spot monitoring, and you can power fold in the mirrors, and then you've got the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system. I love the little perforations there in the headrest, but look at this Shelby logo there, and then these front seats are, again, beautiful. Love the leather, love the design, and then they are power adjustable. And then you get some upgraded pedals here with the Shelby F-150, and then all your regular controls here, including like the pedal adjustment. And then you got the American flag here, but look at the carbon fiber. Now this is the first upgrade to the interior, and that's the fact that you have this carbon fiber trim here at the bottom of the steering wheel, and then also kind of like around the top portions. Still have that cool digital gauge cluster that you get with, you know, higher end F-150s. And then this particular truck does have like the 360 camera system, and then you guys can see it also has the bigger infotainment screen. And then there is more carbon fiber all around that, and then being a Lariat, you've got heated and cooled seats. Now this does have off-road in the name, and so this actually does have the rear locker, which would help out with off-roading, and then you've got 4-wheel high as well as 4-wheel auto and 4-wheel low, which would also help out with off-roading, and then you still got all the normal F-150 drive modes. And those drive modes actually pop up here in the center. Now the one you're always going to want to use is, of course, the sport mode. Now we've got some more carbon fiber that's been added as part of this package. This one has the fold down shifter, and then you've got this custom center console with your chassis number and everything, which is pretty cool. You got the Shelby signature, and then again, nice leather and stitching. And yes, the carbon fiber trim continues, and then look on the outside of the glove box. You've got your 60th anniversary plaque right there, which is also pretty neat. And then up top here, we've got a little sunglass holder, and then you guys can see the panoramic sunroof. And then here's our window sticker for the Shelby F-150 Off-Road. So this shows you all of the equipment. So if you're interested to read everything that they've added to this truck, I went over most of it, but you know, there's a couple things. And this is a big thing with these Shelby trucks. You have a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty on the truck. Typically when you modify your vehicles like what this has, you're not gonna have any sort of warranty. MSRP now, $132,275. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and you guys can see the venting on the hood. That is so cool. Both the mirrors just do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. We are officially setting off in the Shelby F-150 Off-Road, and man, is this such a cool truck. So first off, seat comfort's actually really good in the Shelby F-150 Off-Road. I think they've done a fantastic job overall from that perspective. And then some other cool stuff is the ride quality is actually really good. So again, those upgraded springs and shocks help out quite substantially, because again, you got to remember, this has 22-inch wheels, which generally means, you know, you're not going to get as good of a ride because you have not a lot of sidewall with the tires, but they've done a pretty good job. And handling, I mean, it's a big truck, but it's pretty solid. Listen to the supercharger. That sounds so good. This thing's quick. This thing is definitely quick. You can definitely tell though, this is like, so I drove my TRX up here today purposefully so I could compare both the trucks back to back. This doesn't feel quite as like torquey as the TRX, if that makes sense. This feels like it's more of like a high horsepower, it still has a lot of torque, but like a higher horsepower, lower torque type vehicle. Because like the TRX, you kind of get on the throttle a bit and it punches. This, it like pulls. It doesn't punch in the same way. It's a different driving experience. So it's very unique. I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. It's not as dramatic, but I think it's pretty cool. Ride quality on the interstate also pretty good. There's a little bit of wind noise, but that's expected again with a pickup truck in general, especially a lifted one. Tire noise, however, is very minimal. I thought it would have a lot more tire noise than it does, so that's impressive. I do like the steering feel, and I've got this in the sport mode if you guys are wondering, so it's 4-wheel auto. I think they've done a good job with that. Braking's really good, actually. I'd expect for a truck with a big old supercharged V8 under the hood to not brake as good as this does, but yeah, it's super solid. Okay, so let's get into summing things up here with this Shelby F-150. Love the exhaust sound too. So I love the looks on the outside. I think it's a really good looking truck. Interior, I like the stuff that they've added to the interior. It's, you know, kind of sad that Ford has a full digital gauge cluster now because they can't add the cool custom Shelby gauges anymore. Just the world we live in with all of this tech. But you can tell they've done as much as they could. And the seats are really good, like I said. And then I love how this drives. It's very comfortable. Like, this is extremely daily drivable. We'll actually pop it back into the normal mode. Yeah, extremely daily drivable. And so, you know, overall, yeah, I think this is a really cool truck. The price of these now is definitely up there, because I think that, you know, when I just reviewed the 21, you know, not too long ago, I think that it was like 118,000, and I think when I reviewed the 20, I'll have to go look back at the videos. I think when I reviewed the 2020, it was like 108,000, so it seems like this has jumped up like $10,000 every year or something like that, which the new F-150 is more expensive. Everything's more expensive today. But, you know, you're not gonna, like, if you buy one of these, you're not gonna see another one out there, because the production on this is just so low. I mean, I'm sure there's less of these than there are of the new Ford Raptor R, for example. They're only building like 2,000 something Ford Raptor Rs, so it's even more rare than that. You got the Shelby name, which is really cool. And the unique looks, I think it's very important, because like the new Ford Raptor R, for example, that looks just like a regular EcoBoost Raptor. You've got the different colored tow hooks, you have the slightly different like hood bulge, but aside from that, it's like a regular, like, I could make my F-150 Raptor look like that. Whereas this, like, you'd have to put a heck of a lot of money into an F-150 to make it look like this. So yeah, I think if you're looking for something a little bit more unique and also more attainable, because like this particular one happens to be available, whereas like good luck getting a Raptor R. So let me know what you guys think about the Shelby F-150, and let me know if you would get this over the Raptor R, considering the prices that the Raptor Rs are going for, availability, considering the realistic situation we're in. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Shelby F-150 Off-Road. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed Kenley Ford here in Layton, Utah for giving me some time with this truck. Like I said, check out the intro in the description down below, especially if you want to purchase a new Ford or a specialty Ford product with no markup over MSRP, and I'll see ya.